Hello, this is Mohammed Ujeti speaking. It is midnight 30 almost, and I am recording this presentation uh, for the second year mechanical engineering of the NSEM school. The title of the presentation is From the internal combustion engine to the hybrid electric car to the Cybertruck. From the internal combustion engine to the hybrid electric car to the Cybertruck. Prepared for NSEM second year mechanical engineering students. See attached list of resources. In the previous session, we tackled English terminology concerning combustion engines and drive transmission, gears and shafts, etc., and spoke about engineering and engineers in passing. We have also seen how the automobile was an extraordinary invention that has come to mark modern civilization. In this session, we shall try to learn more terminology about the anatomy of this quintessence of mechanical engineering, and we shall examine its evolution through recent history. Automobile anatomy. What is anatomy? Anatomy, 1, 2, 3, 4 syllables, stress on the second. Anatomy from late Latin anatomia, which means dissection. From Greek anatomy, from anatemnein, which means to dissect. From ana plus temnein, which means to cut. The noun dates back to the 14th century. As we said before, English is a young language and has experienced an exponential development worthy of admiration. It is impressive. Anatomy is a branch of morphology that deals with the structure of organisms. That's the first meaning. A branch of morphology. Morphology, the science of forms. So anatomy means we are going to look at the form, in this case, the form of automobiles, of cars, that deals with the structure of organisms. It has something to do with structure, how different elements work together within the same system, or convergence of different systems working together. The original anatomy is about the structure of organisms, but here we're going to look at a specific structure, that of the automobile. Anatomy can be a treatise on anatomical science or art. It's a subject at high school, at university, in schools of medicine. Number 3, anatomy is the art of separating the parts of an organism in order to ascertain their position, relations, structure, function. It means dissection. Doesn't it have some similarity with deconstruction? It has something to do with structuralism, but also with deconstruction. So we are deconstructing to understand. We are dissecting to understand. We are killing. This is, again, an epistemological subject. I mean, to kill a frog in order to understand the respiratory system, or the digestive system, or the circulation system, etc. It's an epistemological issue. That's another story. An obsolete meaning, a body dissected or to be dissected. Yes, well, obsolete. Number five, structural makeup, especially of an organism of any of its parts, which means the structure, the components, what is something made of. And number six, separating or dividing into parts of detailed examination analysis. So it has something to do with analysis as well. To analyze means to cut, to separate the components, the parts into the parts of a unit into various parts to be able to understand their functioning and their utility, their operation. How do they work? And finally, number seven, anatomy can refer directly to the skeleton or to a mummy or to the human body in general. Yes, well, the anatomy of the automobile, the anatomy is for living organisms, for animals, for insects, etc. We're talking here about the automobile. Well, there is an author, a poet, an American poet called Emily Dickinson, who happened to have treated vehicles or artifacts of modern technology, personified them, treated them as humans, or at least as living organisms. And she wrote a poem about the railway train where she says, I like to see it lap the miles and lick the valleys up and stop to feed itself at tanks, and then prodigious step around a pile of mountains and supercilious peer in shanties by the sides of roads, and then a quarry pair to fit its sides and crawl between, complaining all the while in horrid hooting stanza, then chase itself downhill and neigh like Boanerges, then punctual as a star, stop docile and omnipotent as its own stable door, at its own stable door. Yeah, she's speaking about a train and treating him as if he were a horse, as if he were a tame animal, but he's more regular than any animal, more disciplined than any animal. I like to see it lap the miles. It is powerful, it's more powerful than any horse, and lick the valleys up like a monster, but a friendly monster, a helpful, a monster at the service of humanity, and stop to feed itself at times. Feed itself maybe to get more coal for its cistern, or probably just to take more humans as passengers, and then produce a step around a pile of mountains. Yes, like a giant, not a monster, but like a giant, like a majestic giant, step around a pile of mountains. Things have become easy for this train, thanks to technology, thanks to engines. I mentioned the engine as being the locomotive of a train, and supercilious peer in shanties by the sides of roads. Yes, it peers in shanties. There are many shanties near the railway track, the railway road. Many poor people find only some space there to build their shanties, their barracks, um, and or their huts, uh, right? So and humans become very small compared to this giant. He looks at them from a superior uh, stance, and then a quarry pair to fit its sides. The quarry or the mountain can be cut, or tunnels can be opened just to allow this giants to pass through and crawl between, complaining all the while Complaining, maybe it's complaining or not. We don't know exactly whether the train is complaining. Is it a sad sound or a happy one? Uh, Abu al-Ala, when he said in an Arabic poem, أبكت تلكم الحمامة أم غنت على فرع غصنها الميادي. The poet cannot distinguish whether the dove is crying or just singing, is lamenting something, the loss of a loved one, or just singing. That's it. That's her own way of singing. Same thing applies to the train. We don't know whether it's hooting, is is complaining, or is just singing, or is just enjoying himself or itself. In horrid hooting stanza, then chase itself downhill like a snake chasing itself, like a devil, very fast, uh, just racing against himself. And neigh like one urges, like a monster, then punctual as a star. That's beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful observation. Stop docile and omnipotent at its own stable door. So I think it's a poem about technology at the service of humanity and how man could master technology and put it at its service. By the way, railway in Arabic we say سكة الحديد، يعني الإنسان طوى الحديد وجعله في خدمته، وأنزل الحديد فيه منافع، فيه بأس شديد ومنافع للناس. صدق الله العظيم. Okay, let me move on. This is an automobile, and let's have a look at certain parts of its anatomy. Hoses in here, hoses, duritets, the pipes that conduct water for various purposes, for a cooling system. They contain coolant. Oxygen sensor, well, modern cars contain plenty of sensors. This one is for oxygen. Check oil, la jauge, or you check oil, the degree of oil. Is there enough oil, enough fresh oil in your car? All right. Engine oil filter. That oil should be filtered. It goes around the gears. It goes around various parts of the engine, and so it should be filtered to remove the debris or, from blocking certain functions of the engine. The coolant or the antifreeze, anti-gel coolant, that is for cooling the engine, as we explained before. Automatic transmission fluid, engine air filter, the air filter, because the car uses oxygen as well to be mixed with fuel and to produce a gas, and that gas is injected into the the chambers, explosion chambers, to move the pistons. The battery cables, yeah, positive and negative cables. The inflation and condition of the tires. The tires should be inflated, and the tires should be properly inflated for stability. The brakes, the brake system, suspension, amortisseur. There is suspension, but there's also what is it called? Shock absorbent. Chassis lubrication. Well, the chassis also needs lubrication. to avoid your car from creaking. Exhaust system, c'est l'échappement des fumées venant du moteur. Fuel filter. The fuel also is full of impurities. It contains dregs. Sometimes it contains mud. If you open the tank of your car, you'll find that there is, especially if it's an old car, plenty of um, of mud actually at the bottom, water and mud and certain objects. So the fuel should be filtered before it gets to the engine, and the tank is of course in the back of the car. Cleaning and polishing. Well, that's the side of the car, the back tail or the side. The tail lights. Yeah, there are front lights and tail lights. Cabin air filter. This ordinary cabin air filter. We're not talking here about air conditioning, but just simple cabin air filter. Check engine light on. Power steering fluid, direction, right? The belts, yeah, the timing belt and the other belts that synchronize the movement of different pulleys and different electricity generator, but also the belt, the timing belt. Windshield washer, that's to wash the windshield. Pare-brise, washer, system pour laver les pare-brise. Okay, let me move on. This is a car, this is the anatomy of a car. The front wing and the back wing. هذول كنسميهم لل. The front door and the back door. And the near side, هاد الجهة اللي قريبة لنا. And the off side, الجهة اللي من الجهة الأخرى. And the same thing, front wing, back wing, front door and back door. This is an old car. Can you guess which model this is? Well, this is a Mercedes, one of the oldest Mercedes. It was very much in fashion in the 70s and 60s of the last century. It's not available anymore. It's a vintage car. This is a vintage car. Now, there are some people who are very fanatic about old cars. They buy them, they own them, they enjoy owning them. It's the smell of history. There is even a club here in Morocco of people who like old cars. But when you want to buy such a car, you should look at certain, when you want to buy a second-hand car, you should look at certain points to see if there is any rusting or if there is any damage. Trunk seal lip. هذاك الجوان ديال الكابو اللوراني ديال الكفر. Trunk, alors الكفر اللوراني كيتسمى trunk en anglais. Seal lip. يعني هذاك seal هو داك الجوان اللي كيغلقوا. Rear body panel seam. Again, trunk floor. One of the parts of the car that get damaged, that get rusted, is the trunk floor. بالنسبة يتقلب الطوموبيل قلب ليها هذاك الأرضية ديال الكوفر ديالها. هذيك تعطيك أخبار. You can understand whether the car is in good shape or in bad shape. Lower trunk section, again, these are the parts that are most exposed to water, and therefore you have to check them. Wheel arches, inner and outer. هذاك لا كوفيرتور ديال الرويضة ديال الدور. Rear frame. Check floors under rear seat, around gasket pedal, seams at rocker panels. Again, you check all these places because that's where damage can happen most often. rocker at jack point. هذه البلاصة ديال الكريك. the jack هو الكريك ديال السيارة الرافعة. the jack. lower footwell area. footwell area. lower footwell area. That is where the driver puts his feet. So that's an area which is exposed to tear and wear. You know the expression in English, tear and wear. استعمال قدم والبلاء ناتج عن الاستعمال عن كثرة الاستعمال. bottom of the inner fender support, the part of the المستاشة اللي هنا, and the link between the bumper and the body. So this is where rust can attack a car. lower edge of front cross member. bumper mounts. هذوك المسائل فاش تتعلق بارشوك. the mounts where the bumper is hung. headlight bucket. These are the headlights. They've got buckets. That is, they look like buckets. So again, water from the rain, exposure, or shocks from accidents can damage these parts of the car. Fender mounted flange, this part here. The windshield flange, again, this part here. Right. Another car from the outside, as you can see, it is exploded in here. Tailgate trunk lids. Trunk, donc c'est le coffre. Tailgate, c'est l'arrière. The lid, قفلة. Something that locks, something that shuts, that seals. Tailgate lids. The mirrors, rétroviseur, to have a look towards the back. The hoods, like the hood. Heads and nose panel. Heads and nose panels. Radiator support. The grills, well, you know the grill without ES, هو المشوات أو المتجر الذي يبيع الساندويتشات يطبخها على نار على الفحم. But this is called a grill. Well, probably in form it looks like one. This is a BMW. Bumpers, pare-choc, un pare-choc, des pare-chocs. Doors, AC condensers for electricity. Step bumpers. Tail lights. Okay, let me move on. Mechanics of the car. Yeah, there are things which are more mechanical, which are involved in the movement of the car. So this is the radiator, which cools the engine. This is the front bumper for shocks. Steering system, donc le système de direction. Suspension system, shock absorbers. Gearbox, la boîte à vitesse. Electric system, it's a whole system. As you can see, the car is a bunch of systems. There are many systems together. Engine assembly, donc the engine is many things together. Lots of things working in harmony. Steering column assembly. Même la direction, elle est constituée de plusieurs parties. So there is the steering wheel, there is the steering column, and there are these steering system parts which are connected to the wheels. Propeller shaft. Well, this is the shaft that transmits. Remember, we spoke about transmission the other day. That transmits drive to the rear shaft and to the rear wheels. This is a rear wheel drive. This is rear axle assembly. It's axle. Rear suspension. As you can see, there is this plus this suspension in here. These springs, a series of springs, des ressorts. Ce sont des ressorts. Okay, let me move on. This is the dashboard. Dashboard. Le tableau de bord, ça s'appelle dashboard. Sun visor, rear view mirror. This is another visor, sun visor with a mirror for your passenger. A cigarette lighter. The vent, c'est-à-dire l'ouverture pour air. Glove compartment, la boîte à gants. It's a place where you could put things. Radio controls. There are more than radios nowadays. Heating controls. It's more controls. Accelerator pedal. Brake pedal. L'embrayage. L'embrayage ما كاينش عندهم جهة أخرى. Windshield wiper. Steering. It's an automatic car. This is an automatic car, so you don't need to that extra pedal. Okay, then let me what is this instrument panel? It's a panel where you can a number of indicators. This is a hybrid car. The big battery in the back under the trunk. This is an internal combustion engine here, and this is an electric motor. You remember engine and motor. Power split device. That's where the power can split. The electricity, and you can use the electric or the internal combustion. And that's it. This is another similar anatomy. I don't think I should go into details. The writing is too small. High voltage cable. What is this? High voltage battery. Steering gear. All right. Upper transverse link. Lower transverse link. Front axle cross member. هذا front. القدام ديال السيارة هو هذا ماشي هذا. Right. Or is it the opposite? Like this, the opposite. I don't know. How about this? Power electronics. Now, there are plenty of electronics there because to move from internal combustion engine to electric and vice versa. Two-cylinder TDI internal combustion engine. So the electric on one side and the internal combustion on the other side. Particle filter, turbocharger, ceramic brakes. Well, the brakes are made of ceramic. The muffler, donc كاين exhaust l'échappement. وهذا silencieux كيسموه muffler. Muffler. E-motor sits in torque converter housing, lightweight DSG 7-speed gearbox. 7-speed gearbox. Wow, that's quite a lot. Spring damper. Spring damper, donc amortisseur, sort d'amortisseur. Shock absorber. Okay, let's have a look from the outside. Hybrid electric vehicle. What is the traction battery pack? Fuel tank. They are side to side. Side by side. Fuel filler. Donc, fuel filler. Remplissage the carburant, exhaust system with a muffler a little bit further, and with a collector over here. In red, you have the internal combustion engine, spark ignited, with the sparks. Power electronic controller, there must be a lot of electronics in there. DC converter, thermal system cooling, donc, to cool the engine. Electric traction motor, here this is the electric traction motor. Electric generator in here. Transmission in here. And battery, additional battery, Zeta, additional battery. The electronic car. Let's move to talk about the electronic car. Yes, well, we know the electric car with an electric engine. We know the hybrid car by now. But the electronic car means a car which is full of electronics. A car which is fully automated. This is the car of the future. This is the car of the present and the car of the future, especially. The car of the future will not only be completely electrical, but also electronic. There are two main areas for that: entertainment and information systems. And there's a lot of information going on about the road, about conduction, about safety, about lots of things. Information, but also entertainment, music or pictures. We don't know. So the purpose is to make the journey in the automobile enjoyable. Everything in the car, from fuel injection to tire pressure, is nowadays and will be in the future more exclusively be monitored and controlled by dozens of computerized electronic systems. Yes, the car will become like a robot. You will be riding in a robot. It will have different systems controlling different aspects and different systems. The day of dominant electric-powered cars will inexorably come. Yes, there is no doubt. لا مناص من ذلك. السيارة الكهربية قادمة. السيارة اللي تمشي بالغاز الأحفوري ستنقرض آجلا أم عاجلا. So the automobiles using the fuel will die out. They will die, and it will be replaced with the electric car. But it will take time before prices fall. Yes, it's true that the prices are a little bit prohibitive these days. You cannot really buy an electric car because it's still expensive. But in the future, the prices will fall, and it will be a common commodity. The availability of battery charging sites. I think this probably is being solved at present. There will be different battery charging sites. So this will dominate the market. Apple and Google are seeking to become major players in the field. Now, that's funny. Apple is a specialist of computers, and so is Google. Google is a specialist of engines of another type, search engines of information. But these are very ambitious companies, and they are seeking to get room for themselves in the automobile market. But will they be successful in that endeavor or not? That's the question. They are seeking to become major players in the field, but for the moment they have only a fairly small share of the car market. I think the automobile companies will not allow Apple and Google to settle easily. They will not surrender without giving a fight, without a fight. They will resist the uh, the entry of intruders. Automobile companies, car manufacturing companies will not allow Apple and Google to to get into the market easily. They will give them somehow a hard time. Information and entertainment, as I said, is the area where where the automobile of the future will work. Information and entertainment is a much hotter area. The field consists of two different systems. Microsoft tried to seize the opportunity with a plan to combine both the control of the gear in the car, audio, maps, routing, and displays, and two, the system that receives and plays locally stored and wireless content. It seems now to have given up. Yes, Microsoft has tried and given up. It probably it bit more than it could chew. Microsoft bit more than it could chew. Very over ambitious, very greedy, and of course there are many competitors, very ferocious competitors. It's almost given up. Now, BlackBerry is a computer company, is a telephone company, if you remember, but we don't hear very much about it nowadays. But in America, it's still working. It has fallen in the dark, but still surviving and still alive and kicking. BlackBerry, Apple, Google. So BlackBerry has produced QNX, and Apple CarPlay, and Google Android Auto. Three services. QNX, a service based on a real-time operating system, appears. Nasser, please كله بيسكتوا. I was saying that BlackBerry, that the QNX is a service based on real-time operating system, appears to be the leader. Yeah, all right. Very surprising, but it's a fact. It's a fact that this company, which was relatively small, it managed to carve itself its share of the market and to position itself in this market, in this highly competitive market. The system is critical yet effectively invisible to users. We don't see it, but it is there. The system controls the entertainment and communications equipment built into the car, including amplifier and speakers for music and voice, microphones, and dashboard display. Well, these are great areas, very important areas. I mean, what makes the difference between cars, quality cars, to have proper amplifiers of sound amplifiers, beautiful speakers, powerful speakers for music, but also for voice. I mean, you can talk, you can receive voice, you can issue orders, you can or instructions to your automobile or to talk to others, etc. Microphones as well, very important area, and a dashboard display. That's a screen where displays can be there. Both Apple and Google are moving aggressively with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with deals with car makers. So it seems Apple and Google are having partnerships with car companies. They are arranging partnerships and they are having deals with those companies. These approaches consist of an app installed on a relatively recent Android phone or iPhone and assume support such as QNX built into the car. So QNX is built in the car, built in. So they are integrate. whereas CarPlay and Android Auto are they rely on a telephone, and that telephone can control many functions in your car. As simple as that. The phone links to the car system with Bluetooth and can be controlled by voice, touch, or dashboard screen. Yes, you can rule your car. You can give instructions to your car through Bluetooth by your voice, or you can touch the screen, or built-in knobs and buttons, or you can push certain buttons, and they could obey your instructions and orders. Content includes music, either on the phone or available through services, maps and navigation, phone calls and messages. So you can do all these things and you win time. So we're racing against time. And the automobile, as I said at the beginning, is at the service of humanity. It is simplifying life, it is making life easier for us. At this point, they do not support video. This will probably come eventually for real seat video. It already exists. This already exists. Rear seat videos are available, so your passengers can enjoy watching films or watching their favorite programs, or a football match or whatever, or the news, while the driver is looking at the road in driving. But again, if it is an automatic car, why not? You could still watch a screen while driving. It will not be forbidden then. Fast growing service, the vehicle systems are appearing now and will become standard in cars. Both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto have arrangements for support from most US, European, Japanese, and Korean companies. Each has a list of about 30 companies with relatively few differences, the major one being both Mercedes-Benz and BMW support Apple but not Android. Okay. There are more than 50 units, many including a computer of some sort. Some such as airbag deployments and windshield washer controls are independent, which means in the future, lots of functions, there is room for innovation. There is room for excellence. I mean, we can improve what exists nowadays. It can become better. So some of them are independent, and some of them are controlled. Some such as airbag deployment and windshield washer controls are independent. يعني السوي جلاس يخدم بوحده، ما تحتاجش تخدمه انت. عنده السنسرز ديالو يقدر يخدم بوحده. It could work by itself. Others such as automatic and anti-lock braking have to work together, though they may not be connected. So it's this putting together these services which is more problematic, and which is an area of research and innovation. The challenge is getting these electronic components to work together. They also need to be improved to communicate and work together far more efficiently. Another area, which is the link between different cars. The long-term objective is for all of those car components to become part of a network of an Internet of Things. Internet of Things, that is, not of humans, but cars communicating between each other for safety, for example, in the motorway or highway. With the Internet of Things, the devices will be able to communicate with each other and control each other as allowed. They will be able to send information to both internal car controls and also to sensors and control centers outside the car, in other words, in another car. Why not? That would be extraordinary, don't you think? Cars communicating between each other and cars communicating with headquarters or God knows what, or petrol stations or whatever. But this is a very complex job, both technically and legally, and it will take time to be completed. Don't worry, it will be completed. Yes, there are legal uh, issues. How can your car talk to my car and or give orders to my car? Um, right. Millions of cars will include some Internet of Things uh, components. Software companies are unlikely to dominate this field. Apple and Google may be interested, but it's a very tough business for them. Yes, as I said earlier on, automobile companies are very powerful as well. So Apple and Google ما يمكنلوش يجي يلعب معاهم. So يمشي يلعب مع قرانه. يمشي يلعبوا مع قرانهم. I mean, you cannot go to another field and impose your vision to that other field. I mean, you are a specialist in this area. I mean, you are taking risks. Okay, fine, take risks. They may work, they may not work. The automakers will not want to see them run this field. Yes, as I said earlier on, they will resist, they will refuse to be dictated to, or to be shown what they should do or what they shouldn't do. Most of the innovations will be made by car makers themselves. Yeah, they are professionals of the automobile, not Apple nor Google. There are those who have a century, more than a century of experience in automobile making, while Apple and Google are recent, are newcomers, are freshmen. Most of the innovations will be made by car makers themselves in cooperation with technologists like Intel and Texas Instruments and auto specialists such as Siemens and Bosch. All right, they could work with other partners and ignore these two intruders. This is another anatomy of the car, but this one is an electronic car. Windshield wiper control. This is electronically controlled. Engine control as well, electronically. Parental controls. Airbag deployment, yes, fully. You know, when the airbag was invented in the beginning, it caused many accidents, and it could be triggered too early or too late, and it has caused deaths. But to be synchronized, it requires a lot of electronics to be involved. Adaptive front lighting. Front lighting should be adapted to the road, to the shape of the road. It can be modified electronically. It could be adapted electronically. Adaptive cruise control, probably the speed as well, the speed of the automobile. Automatic braking, yeah, as well. Electric power steering, assiste. Electronic throttle control. Electronic valve timing. Again, that's electronic as well. So it's almost like a computer. Many functions. Idle stop start. Cylinder deactivation. Active vibration control. Remote keyless entry. You know, this exists already. You don't need keys, just a remote control, and you can open the door and get in. Blind spot detection. It's kind of radar to detect blind spots. Lane departure warning. If you are changing your lane, and maybe the car issues a warning, and to avoid accidents or avoid clashing with other drivers. Transmission control, seat position control, that would be extraordinary. I mean, you don't need to use levers and to fight with levers or to explain to your passengers how to adjust their seats. Maybe seats could be adjusted automatically. Electronic stability control, yes, it's a very important thing. for stability on the road. Active yaw control, I don't know what that one is. Parking system, beautiful, yeah. Parking will become a piece of cake in the future. I mean, the automobile will be able to park itself. You will not need much gymnastics to park your car. Tire pressure monitoring, you don't need to check it, it checked itself. Anti-lock braking, regenerative braking, hill hold control. It's in a hill, yeah, probably if you are in a hill, parking or driving. Active suspension. So it's not the classic suspension. It's active suspension. Active exhaust noise suppression. Wow, maybe there is a catalyst, but also noise suppression. Navigation system again for the back. Digital trunk signals. Digital turn signals. Yeah, probably you don't need the to push any button or any knob. It will work by itself when you steer to a certain direction. Toll collection, electronic toll collection. Yeah, for the péage autoroute. Lane correction. We have seen a while ago lane departure warning, and here lane correction. Battery management. Oh yes, the battery also can be controlled electronically to manage your battery when it is full, when it is not full, when it needs to be filled, when it needs to be charged, I mean, right? Cabin environment controls, probably about air conditioning. Voice data communication, communication within the car and outside the car. Active cabin noise suppression, extraordinary suppression of noise within the cabin. Interior lighting for the cabin. Auto dimming mirror. ديك المراية اللي ما خصهاش تكون فيها إشعاع كتير بزاف في الليل. It dims automatically by itself. That's a dream for me. Even event data recorder. Oh yes, I didn't know that. So it's like a ship, it's like a boat, and event data recorder. It will record all the data, and that data can be used, can be mined, and can be exploited for the driver, for the automobile company, and for everything. Driver alertness monitoring. Yes, it will see whether you are asleep or not. Head-up display. Display screen which shows you the road ahead. Night vision. Maybe it could improve night vision. Windshield wiper control. It said this one. And I think that's more than enough. Thank you for that aspect. Tesla sedan, hatchback, and Cybertruck. Tesla is the company of Elon Musk, the American from California. A sedan is a kind of car with four doors and with a separate trunk lid, and the hatchback, which the rear window plus the trunk are together, and the Cybertruck. So Mr. Elon Musk is a very brave entrepreneur. He's a millionaire now. He's a billionaire, maybe. He's a very colorful person, but probably very smart. I didn't like him being involved with what's his name? I forgot his name. I'll come back to it. what's his name? That actor, Hollywoodian, the Pirate of the Caribbean, the Pirate of the Caribbean. His ex-wife, or Elon Musk, had an affair with with that woman, and I lost some respect for him for that. But I still admire him. He's an inventor. He's an entrepreneur. He's a great man, after all. The Tesla Model 3. The Tesla Model 3 is a sedan en français c'est une berline, carrosserie à 4 portes entièrement fermée, as I've explained just now. The 2020 Model 3 starts at $35,000. إذن 35 مليون. أظن هذا ثمن معقول بالنسبة للأمريكان وربما حتى بالنسبة للمغرب. Did you know that there are more Porsches being sold in China than in Germany, and probably there are more Porsches sold in Morocco than in certain countries. With a destination charge delivery fee. Destination charge يعني كلفة توصيل غادي يوصلك البضاعة حتى لباب الدار وخصك تخلص عليها $1,200. It gets EPA, Environment Protection Authority of the United States, estimated 113 and 41 mpg combined. Good fit for luxury shoppers, commuters, eco-friendly shoppers, small families. So it's an electric car. It is highly electronic and is good for luxury shoppers, people who want to show off, commuters, c'est-à-dire les gens qui font la navette, eco-friendly shoppers, les gens qui sont conscients de la protection de l'environnement, and small families. It's not a very big car anyway. Popular competitors: Genesis G70, Nissan Maxima, and Toyota Avalon. So it doesn't mean that Elon Musk is king of the field. No. There are other competitors, two of them Japanese or Nippon and European as well, and American. The Tesla Model 3 is a sedan. The 2020 Model 3 starts at $35,000 with a destination charge of $1,200. It gets EPA estimated at, as we said. As you can see, the shape is aerodynamic. It looks like an ordinary car, but it's quite beautiful, quite attractive. As you can see, there is no grille at the front. There is no grille in here. It's an electric car, and of course the lighting is automatically controlled. And there are the same thing about entry. And the wheels are made of special alloys. Iron, steel and carbon. They are lightweight, or aluminum, or other hard and lightweight material. This is a side picture. Tesla Model S hatchback or sedan. The Tesla Model S is available as a hatchback and a sedan. The 2020 Model S starts at $74,990. تقريبا 75 ولا 76 مليون. With a destination charge delivery fee of $1,200 with 104 170 mpg combined. Environment Protection Authority, that's a score which is quite a decent one. This car is a good fit for luxury shoppers, commuters, eco-friendly shoppers like the previous one, but this one is twice as expensive. Popular competitors, are there any? Yes, there are. The Audi A7, Maserati Gilby, and Lexus LS 500. This is it. Beautiful. Look at the shape. Look at the aggressive look. Look also at the elegant lines, elegant curves, and the aerodynamism. Extraordinary car. This is a look from the side. This is a look from the back. Now let me move on to the Tesla Model X SUV, sports utility vehicle. SUV, sports utility vehicle. The Tesla Model X is a SUV, sports utility vehicle. The 2020 Model X starts at $79,999. That's for publicity. It's $80,000. It's مليون كل مليون ينطح مليون. With a destination charge delivery fee, the same destination charge as the previous cars. It gets EPA, Environment Protection Agency, estimated at 1996. It's lower than the previous ones. Mile per gallon, 96 mile per gallon. That's good. Gallon في 4 لتر. 4 liters in a gallon. So 90 kilometers for a gallon. That's good. Let's see the other ones. The 117 miles per gallon for the Tesla Model S. And this one is 141 miles per gallon for the Tesla Model 3. It's very economic when it comes to fuel consumption because the technology is much more efficient nowadays. Cars are not anymore oil, gasoline. This is a back rear view of the same car, the sports utility, and this is the display of the road map, etc. It's very large screen actually, very efficient, very user friendly, touch screen of course. There is you can use it for music, you can use it for information and for calls and for whatever. Look at the seats, quite fashionable, probably leather or high quality. Look at the seats. The Tesla Cybertruck, this is the one I wanted to talk about. The Tesla Cybertruck. It's a wild electric pickup. You know, the Americans are very fond of pickups, and Elon Musk wanted to create an electronic one for his fellow Americans, and why not his fellow humans if they can afford to buy any of his products. Tesla changed the automotive landscape. That's true. It changed drastically the automotive landscape with the launch of its Model S. So much so that we named it our ultimate car of the year. Yes, it's an ultimate car of the year, but the future there are others. Now Elon Musk and friends have their sight aimed square at the American pickup truck market. Elon Musk and friends because it's a team. It's not a one-man car. ماشي شخص واحد اللي كيصاوبها فريق. وإيلون ماسك عنده واحد المجموعة ديال شي 40 ديال الناس. He's got 40 friends, 40 team members work together. They are specialized, highly specialized. They are artists. They may be a little bit crazy about this kind of technology, and they work together to produce what they have produced. With all new electric Cybertruck. It's all new, and it is a cyber truck. It's full of electronics. If you have any doubt about the significance of the new Cybertruck, consider Ford's F-Series trucks are a $41 billion industry with Amazon recently where Amazon recently invested $700 million in EV truck company Rivian. So it's not a crazy endeavor. It's serious business. It's serious, big business. Between Rivian, planned electric truck from General Motors and Ford, and the boxy Bollinger B2, can B1 or can B2. There is B1 and B2 from Bollinger. It's another car constructor. Tesla Cybertruck won't lack for competition in the EV pickup market. For insider information, expert analysis, and in-depth coverage, you can read about that, of course. Go to their websites. This is the Cybertruck. How does it look like? I leave it to you to comment. Just look at the headlights at the front over here, the headlights here, and the rear lights here, and the dark background, the two doors. It looks like a tank. It is very solid. It is fearful. Some people might say it looks ugly. Others might say it looks very elegant. It's a question of taste. The company was founded in 2009 by CEO Robert R.G. Scaringe, who graduated from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. This is another competitor of Elon Musk. So he's a MIT graduate with a doctorate in mechanical engineering. Well, this is a hint for you. So it's somebody like you who is going to create an entirely electrical truck and Cybertruck. After being renamed Avera Automotive and then Rivian Automotive, the company began focusing on autonomous electric vehicles in 2011. So it's a fierce competition between Elon Musk and Robert Scaringe. This is his Ford F-150 for comparison. هذه فورد العادية ولكن نفس الحجم. It's the same size, the same performance apparently, but the other one is cyber and this one is not. This is Amazon's Rivian. Well, sold by Amazon, but it says what's his name? Avera's Rivian. It's a truck, as you can see, with a cabin for 4 or more passengers. It's electric. There is no grill in here, and of course you can use it here for utility, for whatever you want to do with your truck. Another model of Rivian, competitor of Elon Musk's Cybertruck. It's also electric. Look at the wheels, aluminum or alloy of steel and carbon. Another Rivian, but as you can see here, you can put your dogs in here if you are a hunter, if you're a sportsman. But it's quite solid. It's quite. I'm sure it can go with you in deserts, in marshes, in whatever, in forests or in jungles, wherever you want to go. It's a combination of a truck and an elegant car. Bollinger Motors B1 and B2, fully electric, highway capable, four-wheel drive utility vehicles. Entered in production in 2019, Bontino, Colmash, Type 1, Roadster, stainless, B1, $60,000 to $125, depending on the model. So they're quite expensive, prohibitively expensive, but probably in the future these cars will become commonplace. There are 34 people behind Bollinger, but Bollinger's car looks like a box. It's boxy. It has borrowed certain features from Land Rover, the classic Land Rover, but of course his purpose, I think this shape appeals to many Americans, or to some Americans, and these are the people that Bollinger is addressing. It looks like a classic car, but it's not a classic car. It is sturdy, it is strong, it is electric, it is electronic. And not a gasoline guzzler. It is very economic. The B1 will be built alongside the B2 pickup truck in Detroit, and both are said to provide a 200-mile driving range between charges. Yeah. 200 miles of autonomy. That's almost 300 kilometers of autonomy. That's extraordinary. The B1 is a utilitarian affair, and from what we can see so far, its interior is free from just about every luxury. We'll know more about the B1 when it's officially unveiled. It has been. Engine, transmission, and performance. I don't need to read all these things. This is the chassis on four wheels. As you can see, it's simple, but it's quite strong. Unbreakable, as you can see. Does it look like a Land Rover classic type? It does, but it's much stronger and less bumpy, and it's electric. The classic Land Rover used to be a gasoline guzzler. Look at this. It can carry a big box. It can adapt to different functions, to whatever functions you want it to be. Look at so many headlights. You can remove the doors for a walk, for a roaming expedition in the desert or in the forest or whatever you want. You can even carry poles or iron bars from the front of the car to the end, because there is space to carry such things. Here's another one, golden this time. Look at the tires, how powerful they are. This is Elon Musk's Cybertruck. It is bulletproof windshield. Yes, well, especially if you live in America, you don't want to be shot at. So it is bulletproof. You're like a president. Nobody can shoot you if you are inside. Concealed light bar. Stainless steel saves cost and emissions. Stainless steel, yes, which means that it is stainless. It doesn't oxidize. It is strong. It is shiny. It is impressive. The body of notched and folded stainless steel sheets. So it's like a tank. It is like a tank. All-wheel drive, so four-wheel drive. All of them are working. You will not be stuck in a desert or in a march. Twin motor Raven powertrain. So there are two motors. شيء موتور واحد عنده جوج أخسر واحد يخدم الآخر. Flat and armored and the side for off-roading. So the bottom of the car is armored. You can drive in stone, you can drive in rough terrain, no problem. Bulletproof stainless steel construction, as we said, steel as well, and the windows as well. Storage in trunk, bed, and sail panels. So you can, yeah, it has a shape. It looks like the trunk is small. It's not that small. It can carry lots of things. Load-bearing body panels attached to unibody chassis, 4-door crew cab. So it's roll-up aluminum tonneau cover. It can roll up and it can convert into a real pickup. MT estimated 690, etc. That's the power of torque. 300-mile range with standard battery. 450 miles with optimal stacked pack. 450 miles. 500 ولا 600 kilometers. That's extraordinary. I mean, that's the ultimate luxury. 2-motor and AWD system. 35-inch off-road tires. 35 inches. An inch is 3 centimeters. That's quite wide. Long travel air suspension. Rear view video cameras. Rear view video cameras. Yeah, it can show you the rear view, what is behind you if you are driving back. 3 across front seating. 3 across front seating. كاين 3 الكراسي اللور وجوج القدام ولا 3. No, il y en a 3. There are 3 seats in the front. So it can carry 6 passengers comfortably. Wow, isn't that extraordinary? 6-foot bed, يعني لبن. You can carry whatever you like there. You can remove the seats or you can change the seats. Claimed 3,350 pounds maximum payload. Payload هي le poids تاع طوناج كما تيقولوا بالعربية. تاع طوناج. Payload. No, payload غير tonnage. Air suspension dips, les amortisseurs. Bed for easy loading. Hidden tow hitch. عندها حتى إلا بغيتي تجر شي واحد ولا بغيتي يجرك شي واحد كاين عندها باش. So if you want to be towed or to tow somebody, you can. It can be towed. Secure in-bed storage at the bottom. Steps incorporated into the rear bumper. There are steps there. Claimed 14,000 pound maximum towing capacity. 7,000 كيلو يعني 7,000 كيلو هي 7 طن. يقدر يجر 7 طن. Ask him. These are members of the team. Designer Franz von Holzhausen and MT team for scale. This is Elon Musk with the car when he asked somebody to brake, or himself wanted to break the window. He says unbreakable, but it broke. But he said there is room for improvement. There is room for improvement. That's a modest statement from a very bright inventor and adventurer. Thank you very much. I could go on for hours, but let's stop in here. Thank you.